I want you to listen up today. I'm not going to give you another motivational fluff piece. This is the raw, unfiltered wake-up call you need for 2025. You're not here by accident. God, the universe, did not put you here to just hang out and be bored. There's something inside of you that's extremely special. He put you here, I believe, to evolve and to create and make this world better. And today, what I'm going to say to you could be the line in the sand between the life you're stuck in and the one you're capable of building. So why are you struggling? It's 2025. Why are you struggling? We could have everything that we could ever want. You're like, no, Jason, that's not true. I don't have this. I don't have a Lamborghini. I don't have the house in Miami. We have more convenience and entertainment and luxuries than kings and queens of the past even could ever dream of. So let me ask you this question. Answer it honestly. Why do you feel so empty? Well, I'm going to answer it for you. Because abundance without purpose is misery in disguise. I'm going to say that again. Abundance without purpose is misery in disguise. We've mistaken having more for being better. Spoiler alert on that. The boomers have tried this. We've been trying this since we've started to get tons of abundance after the 1930s. Spoiler alert, it's not working. We're drowning in comfort, but we're starving for meaning. We're drowning in our own comfort that we've created all around us, the shallowness, but we're starving for something deep, something that has true meaning, something that's personal for us, the purpose that we have that we're created to be. You're not unhappy because you have too little. You're unhappy because you never defined what enough means for you specifically. I'm going to give you 5 hard truths, and then I'll give you some steps that you can take for 2025 to change your life. Number 1, hard truth number 1, nobody's coming to save you guys. Your parents, they're not going to save you. Society, I'm going to give you a cold, hard fact, and you're going to be like, Jason, kind of pisses me off, but it's true. Society does not give 2 fucks about you. Society doesn't care. And the system, it's broken. We've seen this. We can look at the news. We can go on X. We can go on TikTok. The system, it's broken. So you are your own rescue mission. If you want a better life, the first step is to take extreme ownership of where you're at. This isn't about blame. It's about taking back your power. Because blame will always keep you stuck. Responsibility will always set you free. Responsibility isn't a burden. It's your greatest weapon against suffering. That suffering that you're feeling day in and day out, guess what? That waiting for someone to fix your problems, I want you to picture this in your mind right now. It's like waiting for a bus in the middle of nowhere. Get in your mind a place where there's absolutely nobody, no nothing, super desolate, and then you're sitting there waiting, and nobody's coming. You can either stand there and rot, you'll literally rot to death, or you can start walking. Stop waiting for a rescue mission. You are the mission. And I want you to understand this, whether you're on Instagram, TikTok, all the social media, I'm going to get into that in a second. Those gurus are trying to sell you something, and they're selling you a lie. You have to save yourself or stay stuck. Those are your only options. Hard truth number 2, compassion is stealing your joy. You say, what does that mean, Jason? Every time you open TikTok or Instagram, you're comparing your raw, unfiltered life, the messiness of life that's normal, to somebody else's edited highlight reel. What you don't see is their anxiety, their debt, and the true reality of them. We lose. You're going to lose. Listen to me. Every time you compare yourself from behind the scenes to the play, the actual play that's been rehearsed, the words have been done, the lighting is perfect, the food has been curated perfectly for that picture, it's not going to be the same. Comparison is killing your potential. The only life worth competing against is the one you lived yesterday. Here's the truth. The more you compare, the less you value yourself. I want you to understand that because there's this huge mental health crisis, and it's this: the more you compare, the less you value yourself. Stop measuring your worth by someone else's life. It's your own life to take responsibility and live. I want you to focus on becoming the best version of you. And what does the best version of you look like? Maybe it's getting out of jail. Maybe it's getting a job and being faithful on the job for several years. What does the best version of you specifically look like? Social media, guys, is selling you a fake reality, and you're buying it every time you scroll. You know what? That influencer that you're jealous of, they're broke, they're anxious, and they're just as lost as you are. Somebody sent me a clip the other day of, I'm talking this Snapchatter influencer, everything that you could imagine they have. The looks, the body, the car, the house next to the beach, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, Chanel, they have it all. And they were doing on Snapchat those questions that you can ask. And someone asked them, how is your mental health? How are you doing with your mental health? And this girl said this. She said, to be honest with you, I'm depressed and it's not good. She lives in the most influential near Malibu in LA. Guys, the anxiety, it doesn't care. They're just as lost as you are. Stop worshiping highlight reels and start building a real life. You say, well, I'm not worshiping highlight reels. Yes, you are. What we worship is what we give our time to. Hard truth number 3. The present moment is all you've got. It's all you've got. Stop running from it. You're addicted to the idea that happiness is somewhere in the future. The next vacation, the next job, the next big break. But when it comes, you barely feel anything or any emotions when you actually hit that next achievement because you're chasing, constantly chasing. It's the next, it's the next, it's the next. Your life isn't on hold. The moment is right here and right now. This is the whole game, this moment. If you can't be happy now, you never will be. And I want to give you a truth right now. Happiness isn't something you find. It's something you create. If you're constantly living for the future, you'll die, never have really lived. And I see this with people. Why do people, when they retire, within 5 years, most people are dead? The future you're waiting for doesn't exist. All you have is now. And I know you're waiting for this perfect moment, this perfect love, this perfect wedding, this perfect job, this perfect vehicle, car, this perfect house. But what's happening right now? This isn't a rehearsal. This is the main event. Hard truth number 4. Most people don't want success. They want the fantasy. I'm going to explain myself. Success sounds sexy because you see it on TikTok, but it's actually really boring because discipline isn't glamorous. Waking up early and grinding when nobody's watching, showing up day after day after day while the rest of the world is scrolling by, most people can't handle that. So what do most people do? 90% of the population settle for daydreams and excuses. But I'm going to tell you a truth, a hard truth. Success is built in the dark. If you can't grind in silence, you don't deserve to shine in public. Stop fantasizing about the end results and start falling in love with the process. That's the key. You've heard this from other people before, and it's so true. Because the process is where the magic happens. The process is the present moment. It's what you're doing, laying brick by brick by brick to build that beautiful home. You don't want success. You want the idea of success. Huge difference. Most people like the idea, but they're not willing to take the responsibility to commit to have that personal success in their life. You want the Lamborghini, but not the sleepless nights. You want the six-pack, but not the discipline. You want the freedom, but not the responsibility. And that is why you're stuck. Hard truth number 5. Abundance breeds narcissism. When you have more than you need, you start focusing on what you don't have. That's where narcissism is born. We become obsessed with our image. with our status, with our body, and whether we're keeping up with everyone else or not. But when you have everything, but it's never enough, you've just created your own worst prison. Real abundance is about having more. It's about needing less. It isn't about having more. It's about needing less. It's about being grateful for what you have and then using it to build something meaningful, to create on that canvas that only God gave you, with the brushes that are only specifically you and the paint that is specifically your color. You're not suffering from too little, my friend. You're suffering from too much of the wrong things. And when you have everything, but you still feel empty, the problem isn't on the outside, the stuff. The problem, as we all know, with mental health, it's on the inside. So I want to give you some really quick, and we'll close this video out, some really quick things that you can do to fix this. We need to understand fault versus responsibility. This is the divide that's keeping you stuck. Maybe you were dealt a rough hand. Maybe life has been super unfair to you. And I know that's not your fault. It's not your fault. What happened to you when you were 6 years old is not your fault. What your parents did to you or your uncle did to you, that's not your fault. But I'm going to tell you something. Staying stuck because of it, that's on you. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. And I'm not talking about ignoring trauma. I'm talking about realizing that nobody's coming to rewrite your past. And you can't control what happened. But there's one thing you can do. In extreme ownership, you can control how you respond. And blame will always keep you trapped. It plays the victim mindset. But extreme ownership and responsibility, it sets you free. And you want to stay stuck forever? Just keep playing the victim. The victim takes no responsibility. And then the hidden mental health crisis. We don't just have an abundance of stuff, guys. We have an abundance of distractions. Social media feeds are designed to keep you scrolling. News cycles are engineered to keep you anxious. Marketing convinces you that you need to buy this today, right now, or your life is going to be incomplete. Your attention is your greatest resource. If you don't control where it goes, someone else is going to do that. And if you haven't heard anything, I want you to listen to this part. An abundance of distraction creates a scarcity of focus. I'm building on something. Listen to me. Without focus, you can't build anything meaningful. That's why so many people feel stuck. They're not lazy. This young generation, like you hear old people say, they're not lazy. You guys aren't lazy. You're just overstimulated and underfocused. You can't even focus for 5 seconds. You have to watch the TV, have the laptop or the iPad going, and your phone. There's 4 different things unfocused going on, and then the stimulation is super overwhelming. We don't have a scarcity problem. We have a focus problem. And I want you to get this. Listen to me. You're not lazy. You're overstimulated. So the uncomfortable solution. Here we go. Number 1, real quick. We'll run through these. Take responsibility. No excuses, no blame. Own your wins, own your losses. Number 2, define abundance for who you are. Define it for yourself. Don't let somebody else's social media feed tell you what abundance is. Forget it. Forget society. Decide what truly matters to you. Stop consuming and start creating. If you're not building something meaningful, you're stuck. You're stuck in the consumer trap. Get out of that trap by building and creating something. Then number 4, live in the now. Stop waiting for happiness to arrive in the future. If you can't find joy today, tomorrow won't save you, because your scrolling isn't killing time. It's killing you. Every hour you consume without creating is an hour of life that you'll never get back.